did thank you again for coming back today. Before we get started, we need to raise our right hand. Follow my instructions over the course of the evening. And that's from anybody teaching or part of the speech, not doing your own research, going on the internet or anywhere else, giving information about the people or parties involved in this case, and not to review any of the media that's being reported about this case. Thank you. And then we'll contact you over the course of the evening to try and talk to you about it. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to talk yesterday from the defendant's case that she was committed to speak with that this morning. So with that, let me just like to call the next witness.
We call Ms. Crown by deposition.
All right, and she did the date of that deposition?
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
What year?
50.
All right, thank you. So, members of the jury, please consider this video deposition of Ms. Elizabeth Traub, T-R-A-U-B. It was taken on March 2nd, 2015, and she was under oath at the time. Please consider this as other evidence in this case.
Thanks for coming in today. Really appreciate it. Already in this case, you're a witness, and appreciate you making time out of your day to come down here. So really appreciate it. Especially with what this is, really appreciate it. I understand that you work in public relations now. How long have you been in PR?
It's about 15 years.
And I understand that you have your own firm now.
I do.
When did you start that firm?
September 2010.
And what's it called?
Media Group.
You're a professional. What do you do?
Media Relations.
What does that mean?
It means press that deals editorial press. For example, not advertising, not law. Paid advertising. Media such as print, online, TV.
And do you try to get your clients into the press?
Maybe sometimes.
How do you try to get your clients in?
Pitching them to appropriate producers or brokers or writers.
And the case of what you said earlier, ultimately you want to make your clients look good, right?
Correct.
That's basically the job of your professional is to test the client as stable as possible, right?
Yes.
If you were to explain that to somebody who's not familiar with the media industry, how would you explain that?
I would say I talk to various relevant reporters, producers, writers, etc. about interviewing or booking a client
To try to
discuss whatever it is they're promoting at that point.
so that they can get on television, or get on radio, or get on a newspaper or magazine, that kind of thing.
Correct.
And how do you decide what the appropriate media is?
15 years experience. It depends on every project is different. Depends. Yeah. I'd like to answer.
You're trying to target the media that fits the particular client situation, right?
Correct.
When did you first start doing work for Home?
2004.
How did that start?
I was working to move on, and anytime I figured who was on books account was leaving, and was transferred over to me.
Okay, so
Inside.
and what kind of work were you doing for her at that time?
Well, I was doing work for her at that time.
And what was she doing?
She was launching a singing group.
And how long did you work exclusively with both?
I don't recall when it changed.
it was the first time that you recall doing work for Paul?
Well, I was doing work with family when the reality show was premiering.
Did you help the family from the time they started on the reality show?
In conjunction with VH1.
And that's the network that broadcast the show.
Correct.
What kind of PR work were you doing at the time?
For
The family.
the morning show.
How are you doing that?
Booking on television, in magazines, in radio interviews.
And what kind of news outlets are you interested in the reality show?
Morning shows, radio shows, afternoon shows. I do it's probably 8 years ago. I really don't recall specific.
It's fair to say there's a lot of media interest in that, right?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Did you grow up in Oklahoma?
So why do you think that is?
Because he has served and 30-something years, and he's a part of the national conscience, right?
But we're not going to know the litigation about laws and about sex. What about you just spent some time talking to you about something? What's your objective in seeking to publicize the lawsuit?
And I think you would have to ask the people who hired me their specific objective was. What I told you before was they wanted people to know they wanted people that they were following this lawsuit. I'm not aware of any other were giving them, and I don't know any other objectives.
At that point, you knew there had been extensive news coverage of the lawful executive already, right? And you expected that the media was going to be interested in the fact that he was filing this lawsuit, right?
I thought yes.
Right. So you know that which will market is 120. So this document is an email string from October 15, 2012. I believe that the top email is 7:38 in the morning, and it's labeled trial number 133. This is another string of emails from me, right?
Yes.
In the top email here, the very first one, the top page one, who is Jennifer Nicholson? And what was her job? What did she do? But it is up this way. Like, was she a secretary?
Yeah, she was not secretary.
So she did PR as well.
I mean, yeah, my job is she's supposed to do.
And who did you have that?
My business partner.
What did you turn the page to? This is an email from you to Jennifer and a copy of Jamie that was sent this on Sunday night, October 14th at 6:55.
Correct.
Do you want to take a look at it? You're right? Okay. So the subject line there is urgent in all caps, right?
Yes.
Why was this urgent?
Because I needed to get stuff together quickly because between Saturday and Monday morning, I needed to get all this together and do these things, and then I was going to make
You see under the email, in the email there is a list of media.
Right.
These are all local media, right?
Yes.
So the temperature is contributed to the newspaper in Tampa.
Yes.
St. Petersburg Times is the newspaper in St. Pete.
Yes.
AP parentheses Tampa, that's the Associated Press in Tampa.
Yes.
When you're hoping that this would go out of the AP wire,
I wanted them to cover the press conference.
what does it mean when something goes on the AP wire?
In different meanings, that they write a story and do an AP wire, which could download or quickly cannot and the rest of the
But the AP wire is picked up by other media newspapers, magazines, newspapers. So
it can be
TV desks, what is that?
the local CBS, local NBC, ABC Fox, local affiliates.
And then there's one here, AP Photo Tampa. What is that?
Associated Press, just photo now.
So you want to make sure that the photographer is there, maybe?
I want them to be.
And then the next one is wire/Getty. What does that mean?
Wire images, such images,
And what do they do?
photos.
And then are those photos for wire/Getty or should be other media?
They can be, yes.
So before, and that's about wire/Getty, and you were telling to me what that means.
Yeah. They use their photo services and they put their pictures, the people, their whoever's customer or newspaper media can use them if you find them next to them. And that's the essential.
But it's kind of like the Associated Press, but just for credit.
Yes.
We also wrote that under there. We also sent to TMZ, AT, Access, etc. But I will make those contacts to class. You see that?
Yes.
TMZ refers to the TMZ that we were discussing earlier.
Yes.
What is TMZ?
And
And what is Access?
advertising.
And what would be the lyrics of them?
Along those lines.
What?
I just want to burn texture.
What is that?
Another television show.
But they gave us celebrity entertainment. Why were you sending it to those kind of outlets?
Because I thought they would cover it.
I'm not going to show you an email, but another email, but we'll mark it 122. And this one is actually a bit funky. It's hard to read. It is. This is an email that has been out with 79. And it's an email that you sent on October 15th at 8:21 in the morning. Is that right?
I don't see the time.
I'm sorry.
No, it's 11:26 a.m.
Okay, I apologize. But you did say email you guys. And this email, like the one we just spoke at, we will learn how to take it off. So here, do you electronic copy of both of those.
Yes.
Is there things where we get it or sending the other?
Yes.
And I just want to go through the people for a second. The first one is the account from CBS.com.
Actually, it's my insider. That is what. Flash the insider, a big ball for the single meeting or vultures.
And what is the insider?
It's an average measure. It's an average, right?
The next one is J. Greenberg,
Astro.
and that's what we talked about earlier.
Yes.
The next one is Christina Beatty and NBC Universal.
Christine Day.
That's right.
She's out of Hollywood.
The one following that is Ryan Norman.
Yes. He's TNT, I believe. Yes. Yes.
And do you know what he does with TNT?
He was they're like, I don't know about it. They don't love it. He shoots her. He's in New York, so it's just really actually to make him aware of it.
You're not that person.
Yeah.
Christian Storage at Syria.
Yes. He is the producer for Richard Camino's show. It's a show on Sirius.
What's that show?
Actually, no, there's two guys, Steve Camino and Richie Evans, and they talk about sports and treatment. They talk about college stuff.
Spencer Jewish.
He used the shower at Sirius, so he books all our shows.
And Sirius is the satellite.
Sirius
When is Deborah Love Mission?
that's the level.
What is
It was at Simon Meadow. It was not on the website.
And we're known at House 90.
Possibly.
What is that movie about?
Possibly, yeah.
Justin Rabbit.
Also, someone at Possibly.
Gary Shapiro at Balance.
In touch with my style.
And what are those?
Magazines. Actually, not magazines. Bloody magazines. Bloody magazines.
And then Paul Keith at Google. Sean Bass at Gmail.
We should get okay at the time.
What is it?
Bloody magazines. Bloody.
And then Carol Moore at Agencies.
Yes.
That's
That's what I heard you earlier. Getty Wire, yeah.
and then C. Rosenbaum at entertainment.com.
Claudia Rosenbaum.
And what's the entertainment?
Television, books.
And again, you want each of these emails to cover the lawsuit.
Theater.
And why do you want to do it?
So that they know that he was in fighting Africa or whatever. Then you say that.
What kind of website is it on?
I'm actually not outside.
It covers celebrities, right? And it covers their personal lives, right?
That's not it.
I'm not going to show you that it was, but I'm going to read it. The whole market is about to get it 126. So what this is a news report from WTSB, which is Channel 10, WTSB. This was broadcast on October 15, 2012. So we'll just watch this. So I'm not just asking a question about this. If you want to watch it again, here, WTSB interrupted the public newscast to cover press conference, right?
Yeah.
They labeled it as breaking news, right?
Yeah.
And they then went live to the press conference, correct? And then provided 3 minutes you have a 5 o'clock news conference, the local media covers it live, 40 minutes of media of the evening newscast. That's a home run for your right?
It was good. I mean, it was good coverage.
But it does, yeah, it's even been the policies like that.
Correct.
Do you think that the press conference was effective?
In what sense?
Well, in achieving the objectives from the perspective.
It was successful in the sense that media wrote about it. They got objective.
Who would like to call Peter Graham?
Watch your step, have a seat, speaking aloud. Speaking to the mic.
Mr. Hand, good morning.
Good morning.
I apologize, I feel like the grounds crew in a rain delay at a baseball game. Thank you for coming this morning. Could you just take a moment and introduce yourself to the jury?
Sure. Hi, I'm Peter Horan. I have my own company, Horan Media Tech Advisors.
What do you do professionally right now, Mr. Horan?
3 things. I invest in digital media companies. I am on the board of directors of a number of companies, and I do a little bit of consulting.
What I'd like to do is talk to you in a moment about your career. Broadly speaking, though, right now, what does it mean to be an investor in media and entertainment companies, or in internet companies?
So I grew up in the media and advertising business, and I've always loved it. And now what I mostly do is invest my own money in digital media companies, internet companies.
And what kind of companies do you invest in?
My 3 most recent investments were one called Outdoor Project. I also love the outdoors. It's a site that helps people find adventures outside. Yummy Nation, which is a food blog network, and Skift, which is a site about business travel news.
So it sounds like right now you're looking at younger startup companies.
For my investment part of it, yes, that's what I do.
Okay, and we'll return to that in just a little bit when we kind of go through your career and get to the what you're doing right now. You're a little bit older than I am.
I'm a little bit older than dirt.
Give the jury just a brief overview of your career.
Okay. 3 big phases. Phase 1, I was an early shareholder in one of the first ad agencies in Silicon Valley focused on technology. Ultimately wound up running the Microsoft ad account worldwide at Ogilvy and Mather. That was like from 1975 to 1990. Spent most of the 90s at a worldwide publishing company called International Data Group. We published in 77 countries. And I both was part of the corporate management dealing with the top technology companies on a worldwide basis, but also running individual publications. And the last 15, almost 16 years now, been running internet businesses.
So it sounds like, just summarizing what you said, you first started your career in the ad business, you then went to traditional print publications, and now have spent the past 15 years or so in the internet business?
That's correct.
How did you get into the internet business?
In the second half of the 1990s, when the first kind of crazy internet boom started, I was running a publication at International Data Group, and as part of that, I had a website. And frankly, we were dabbling. It was like, oh, this is kind of cool. What will we do? But as we went through the 90s, I realized that for me, the prospect of the internet was really compelling, and I was never going to get good at it if I didn't go in with both feet and just focus on running internet businesses.
So what was the first thing that you did strictly with the internet?
A little site called DevX, D-E-V-X, which is a site for software developers.
And just time-wise, when was this?
Impeccable timing. I went there just in time for the internet to crash around my ears in April of 2000.
What did you then do after DevX? I think that did not end well.
No, it ended well. Thank you. Survived, got it profitable, sold it to Jupiter Media in 2003, and then was asked to come to New York to turn around a large consumer website called About.com, which was part of Prime Media.
I want to ask you about two things you just said. First, what's a turnaround?
Well, as I sort of jokingly said, because it hurt so much, the first wave of the internet crashed in 2000, 2001, and a lot of businesses were deeply troubled. And so a fellow I had worked for 10 years in the 90s was CEO of the company Prime Media, and About.com had been a high flyer, had crashed back to earth, and he needed me to get the revenue growing again, make it profitable, and hopefully find someone to buy it from them.
So the idea was you'd come into this company, clean things up, and then make it successful again?
Yes.
And what is About.com?
Largely a large consumer website, a lot of how-to stuff. We had 1,400 crock pot recipes. We did really well on things like, what to do with the kids after school, where to go on vacation. Just trying to be helpful.
And just time-wise, when were you with About.com?
From 2003 till the middle of 2005.
Today, where is About.com ranked as far as websites in the country by unique views?
25, 30. It's towards the top. It's not Google, but it's a successful website.
From About.com, what was your title at About.com?
I was CEO.
And you were in that capacity just
running the business.
Where did you go next?
We sold About.com to the New York Times, and I had been living in California and went to New York to do that assignment, and then we moved back to California, and I ran a company called All Business, which was a small business website.
What kind of website was All Business at that time?
Advice for small business owners, everything from sort of broad topics like, how do you use the books, how do you use QuickBook, how do you incorporate, to specific things on how do you run a restaurant more profitably, how do you run a construction firm.
And what was your position at All Business?
I was also CEO there.
What did you do after All Business?
After All Business, I went to IAC, Interactive Corp, as CEO of their media and advertising division.
IAC is not a household name as far as companies go, but what is IAC?
Well, probably the thing most people would know is if you know The Simpsons, the character of Mr. Burns was based on my boss, Barry Diller. But the brands that I ran were things like City Search, Evite, I ran their ad network, and Ask.com, which was a search engine, the old Ask Jeeves.
So IAC was a large company. You ran the portion that dealt with some
media and advertising.
Right, and some of these websites that you just mentioned, like Ask.com, City Search, Evite, that was under your purview.
Yep.
What were your responsibilities then as CEO of IAC Media and Advertising?
IAC is a public company, and I was running what's referred to as a reporting division. So the public market investors could look and see how my group was doing. So first responsibility was to deliver financial results, strategy, and I had a group of business unit CEOs under me that I managed.
And at that time, how many employees were there under your umbrella?
Rough guess, about 2,000.
And how much were you all doing revenue-wise?
700 million? 750?
At IAC, were you involved in investing in or acquiring other companies?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
IAC was a company that was principally built through acquisitions, and so that was actually their nature. And so the whole time that I was there, we were looking at, should we buy, for example, The Knot, which is a site for wedding planning. We invested in a site called Merchant Circle, which was another small business website. So we were always in the market to buy or sell.
And that was part of your role as
Yes.
the CEO. What did you do after IAC?
Did a startup, which didn't work, in the email space. Got some scar tissue.
What was that startup?
Goodmail Systems?
And ultimately didn't work out?
No.
What did you do after Goodmail?
I was consulting, and basically what I'm doing now, and some investors in the company Answers.com were trying to recruit me to join the board at Answers, but as we got closer, they asked me to join as part of management to take what was a really promising startup and make it a kind of company that would have the potential to go public.
Time frame-wise, when was that?
2012 through end of 2014.
And what is Answers.com?
Another consumer website. Probably most you'd know it if you're helping your kids do homework and they want to know, how tall is the Eiffel Tower, or questions about any range of health. How do cells divide? And had people would ask questions and other people would answer them.
And where does that fall as far as popularity of websites?
Most months, 25, 30, 40, roughly about the same place in the rankings as in About.com.
One of the sites that you had mentioned earlier with IAC was under your umbrella was Ask.com?
Yes.
That was formerly known as AskJeeves.com?
Yes, it was.
And where does that fall on the spectrum of popular sites?
Probably 15 or 20 at the time.
Turning just back to the time that you were with Answers, that 2012-2014 period, what was your title?
I was president and chief operating officer.
What did you do in that capacity?
Answers at the time was a kind of a classic startup run by a bunch of late 20s guys, wicked smart, but had never run a business before. And so when the investors came in, they realized it was being run off of Excel spreadsheets and QuickBooks, and it was a great company, but it wasn't one that they could eventually take public. And what they wanted is somebody that had public company experience to, I helped recruit the CFO, recruited a VP of HR, put in policies and procedures, cleaned up the books, and we ultimately were able to, we didn't go public, but we sold it for a lot of money to a private equity firm.
During your tenure with Answers, did you acquire any companies?
Yeah, we acquired probably 6 companies.
And you left that role in 2014?
Yes.
So just to kind of summarize, when you were at About.com, when you were at IAC, when you were at Answers.com, back going all the way to allbusiness.com, it sounds like you were regularly involved in the finance, valuation, sale, acquisition of website and web companies?
Yes, correct.
Now, you had sort of started just a few minutes ago by saying now you have your own business. When did you start that?
Beginning of 2015.
And what, I think you said earlier, but in that role, what do you do now? What does that company do?
Well, as you said, as we talked about, I do direct investments in smaller media companies, and that means I write a check out of my own account for these companies, which is sort of a very practical exercise in valuation. I'm a consultant to several internet companies, and I'm on the boards of directors of a bunch of companies, some public, some private.
So you already talked about some of the companies that you invest in. What are some of the companies that you're on the board of directors for?
LendingTree, the mortgage company, if you know the phrase, when banks compete, you win, that's LendingTree. Perch, which is a site for technology news and product reviews. 12-Fold Media, which is an ad technology company. A lot of the stuff that folks talked about yesterday about making ads magically appear on a page, they do that. Topics, which is a news and entertainment site.
How many different internet company boards do you sit on now?
8.
And in your capacity as a board member with those companies, what kind of issues are you dealing with?
Everything from preparation of financials, corporate strategy, hiring top management, and obviously company valuations, because we're either raising money, buying companies, selling companies.
I guess, sitting where you are now, over the time that you've had your own company, how often would you say that you're involved in the valuation of internet companies and looking at internet finance for web companies now?
Very regularly.
Weekly basis, daily basis?
Certainly monthly, often weekly.
What kinds of professional organizations have you been involved with?
Been on the boards of directors of the Interactive Advertising Bureau, which is the umbrella trade association for all internet advertising. And that represents everything from the mega mongo huge companies like Google and Facebook down to startups. And the other is the Online Publishers Association, which is the trade association for the digital arms of the quality original content companies like New York Times, ESPN, Wall Street Journal.
And so for both of those groups, you've also been on the board of directors?
Yes.
Fair to say that over the course of this past 15, 16 years, you've regularly been involved in valuing media and entertainment internet companies?
Yes. I'm not cool enough to get in the entertainment business.
Yeah, no, ignore me.
I'll stick to the internet.
What generally does that involve?
Well, in my part of the world, it's very practical. It's like, I may think my house is worth $5 million, but if I can't find somebody to write me a check for $5 million, it's not worth $5 million. So my part of the world is where you try to get a value, but you only know if it's right when somebody gives you a check. So I'm either buying or selling, but there's a real market where money changes hands.
Now, kind of bringing focus to why we're here, more specifically why you're here today. We retained you as an expert in this case, right?
That's correct.
Have you ever been an expert witness before?
Nope. One and only.
I'm sorry?
One and only.
Just today? I take it you're getting paid to be here?
Yes, sir.
How much are you getting paid?
$400 an hour.
We bought you a plane ticket and put you up at a hotel last night?
Let me eat at the buffet.
Have you ever worked or invested in Gawker?
No.
Have you ever been asked to work at or invest in Gawker?
Nope.
Shifting specifically to your assignment in this case, you were asked to offer an opinion on how Gawker might have benefited commercially from the Hulk Hogan post.
Yes.
What commercial benefit might Gawker have derived from that post?
Well, as was discussed previously, the primary revenue stream for Gawker was advertising. And so the thing I was trying to figure out was, as a result of this post, did Gawker get a significant increase in traffic which could be turned into advertising revenue? So I wanted to construct a model that sort of looked at all the ways Gawker might have made money off of this post.
So that ultimately that's what you did. You looked at how much money Gawker would have made from the Hulk Hogan post. And when you talked about the testimony previously, I mean, the only day that you saw was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon.
When Mia Libby from advertising testified.
Yes.
And then Scott Kidder, the CFO, COO.
Yes.
And would Gawker have benefited by an increase in overall value of the company from the Hulk Hogan post?
It would be very hard to assign an increase in value to just one post.
Have you ever heard of anybody attempting to attribute a portion of value to a website from a single post?
Not in my experience.
Why not?
And I got to go back to kind of some things we heard yesterday. In 2012, I believe... Thank you.